Hello, welcome to our first book study, you guys. This is as new to me as it may be to some of you, but I am super excited about this because it really allows us to connect through a book, um, very much like a book study would. We're going to discuss things that stuck out to us. Why did that stick out to you? What did you really enjoy? What were you surprised by? But it allows me to kind of work with you guys and show you a little bit of the industry. Maybe talk about some stuff that doesn't normally come up in conversation. And my hope, like I said, when I asked each of you to join me, was really to get through this book and to really help develop people into those business people, business women of high earnings, and really find people that have a passion. And I think book clubs are a good way to do that because sometimes people just love to be students. They just love to read and they love to put themselves in a good book. And sometimes people learn better that way. So I think it's really good that we can go through this together. We'll go two chapters at a time and then we'll kind of talk about it. If it takes a whole half hour, great. If some nights it doesn't, totally fine. I just want you guys to get the most out of the book, ask your questions, talk about things in a group setting. And really, like when we finish this, then we're going to have kind of like there'll be a challenge of like, okay, like by the time we're done this book, like who is ready to rock network marketing? Like, did we light new fires? Did we find new sparks? Did we find a new passion? So I'm super, super excited about it. So, all right, let's start with chapter one. Mackenzie and I were just saying, like, it's not really long. It's really short, and I love it. This is one of the first books I read when I got into Plexus, and I love it because it is like jam packed with so much goodness. But it's a quick, easy read, and it's something that you can always go back to quickly and be like, you know what? I just feel like I need to refresh my mind with Sarah Robbins. She also has a lot of good YouTube stuff. So I'm gonna go through the first chapter. I'll go through some stuff that really stuck out to me, and then I want you guys to also kind of chime in and just talk about what stuck out to you. Um, so one of the first things that I kind of highlighted, and I highlight and write in all of my books, but my personal growth books, is in the third chapter on the second page where she says, through the persistence and commitment to personal and professional growth, we were able to establish a system and help others get off to a great start. Okay, so several times in the first two chapters, she talks about personal growth and professional growth. And you guys, when I got started, I started in Plexus for the product. I felt like total crap. And I didn't realize that I was actually signing up for personal growth. Like I had been running my family's hair salon for a long time. I had a new baby. I was that person was like, did I actually read personal growth books like in the library or in the bookstore, like Barnes and Noble? Like people actually go to that section. It wasn't a thing to me. I didn't know that people did actual personal growth. It was like I think the most I would have ever said was like the chicken soup books. Like I just didn't really realize that, and it sounds crazy now that like super high successful people live in personal development, and that's the difference. They think differently and because of the development. So throughout Plexus, I've noticed that it's like all personal development. Okay. Yeah, we sell products. Yes, they're amazing. But really, they sell themselves. If people take them every day, they work, right? But if we're growing ourselves professionally and personally, the results compound and they are incredible. I also love how she talks about with her and her mom joining that, like what they found was that they found great joy in the ability to give, right? And I don't know about you guys, but like when I started this journey, we had nothing to give no one, right? Like we were like living paycheck to paycheck. We would tithe at church. Like, Lord, that was all. Like, because it was tight. But what we have found is that through Plexus as a vehicle, we've been able to give so much more. Something comes up and you're just, somebody needs something. You're like, okay, you know what? Maybe they lose a family member or they lose a baby or something happens. And you're like, I'm going to send them a card with a gift card for the nearest pizza place to them. Like, oh, it's Christmas, I'm gonna buy their family extra Christmas gifts, or I'm gonna do Thanksgiving dinner for somebody, or I'm gonna give, like an anonymous monetary gift. The ability to give financially through this opportunity is amazing, but also to give hope, health, your time, because in this personal growth, you're helping others, you're giving them the ability to have an outlet, someone to talk to, someone to confide in, giving them hope of, I don't have to feel like this forever. I don't have to not have friends. I can be in a community that's positive and supportive. So it really did stick out to me because giving has been something too. Um, and then, okay, so then she talks about the failing forward. And we've been saying this for, I don't even months at this point. I mean, years, but really a lot over the months, that in this business, the only way you lose is if you quit. It's the only way you lose. And if I were to take that thought, she says, I was willing to be coachable. I was willing to learn. I was willing to do, stay committed because she had a goal. She knew where she was going. And that's the other part of that is like how you're only going to fail if you quit, but you also need a goal or you're never going to know if you fail or you win. If you don't know where you're going, my grandpapa always says this, oh, what are you doing? We're like, nothing. And he's like, how do you know when you're done? Not real sure. I don't know. I guess I'll do something. But if we don't have a goal, you don't know if you win or lose. How would you know? You're like, I'm not even sure where I'm going. But if you take that thought of like, I didn't want to give up, the only way you lose is if you quit, and kind of jump towards the end of chapter 2, where she talks about 95% of the people who remain in this injury for 10 years or longer, work steadily and build groups, reach their highest level of pay in their respective businesses. I don't know if you guys know, but the highest rank in Plexus is Diamond. The average pay, income disclosure here, the average pay of a Diamond is $420,000 a year. So based on Sarah Robbins, if you don't quit, you don't give up, you work steady, you are coachable, and you have a goal, 95% of you in 10 years will make $420,000 a year. Income disclosure. What's wrong? Okay, you can jump. Like, doesn't that make you think like, okay, 10 years from now, I don't even want to think about it. Like 10 years from now, Millie will be turning 16. Okay. I've been in Plexus for 6 years. I'm more than halfway there. Okay. But like 10 years, if I stayed in hairdressing for 10 years, I would have never made $420,000 in 1 year. Just saying. And I'd had to show up to work every single day, 10-hour days. So I think that is a really big part of what we do, is that people are like, I'm afraid I'm going to fail. The only way you fail in this is if you quit, is if you don't show up consistently and steady, and if you don't have a goal. That's the only way that you can lose in network marketing. Okay, and then I want to touch on finding success through prospecting. Okay, this is the hard part, right? People are always like, I don't know anybody, I don't know enough people, I don't know. Okay, and she talks about gold and the bricks, right? If they were buried in the backyard, like, would you go digging in your backyard till you found them? Okay, something else I just heard recently, and if you have read Built to Last, he talks about a gymnasium full of 10,000 cups. If there's a gymnasium filled with 10,000 cups, and we're going to call them diamonds because that's our company, and there's 5 cups that have diamonds underneath of them. Okay, so if you had 5 diamonds underneath of you and they're each earning $420,000, just figure out what you're earning, right? Would you flip over every single cup, or would you flip over 20 and be like, you know what, this is ridiculous, I'm just going to let somebody else flip these cups? No, she talks about you are looking for gold. You are prospecting in the process of talking to people in hopes that you will find someone who is interested in joining you. Okay. It is a numbers game. Keep flipping cups. If you knew, I can remember sitting in Las Vegas at convention in 2019. We were sitting around the pool with me, Kristen Elliott, and my sister. And we were talking about what drives someone to essentially flip cups, right? And I was like, somebody said to me, like, if there was a diamond sitting around this pool, would you go ask every single person to do Plexus with you until you found them? I was like, heck yes. Like, if you could guarantee me there was a diamond, I would go. And my sister's like, I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe not, because it didn't motivate her. I said, if there was someone around this pool that was like chronically ill, and you just had to find them and ask them to do Plexus with you, and it would like essentially heal them. She's like, oh, I'd go ask every single person, because it was the difference in what drove us. Like me, it was like the gold, the money, the rank, all the things. I'm like, yes. she's like, I don't really care personality wise. She's like, I just want to help people. She's a teacher. She's like, I just want to help somebody. She's like, if you told me that there was someone around the school that needed like life-changing help, yes, I'd go ask every single person. But it was like, are you willing to flip all the cups? Are you willing, like Sarah talks about, are you willing to dig for the gold? Because you don't need, good night, you don't need to find all of these people, right? You just need to find a couple. You need to find a couple that are willing to do this with you. And how do you find them? You just ask. You just ask, because if we're not asking, you're never going to find them. You're never going to find them if you don't ask. And here's the deal. Even when you're a diamond, even when you are a double diamond, even when you are Celeste Gwen, she is the top diamond in Plexus. She is a 12-star diamond, meaning that there is 12 six-figure earners in her closest level to her, underneath of her. Even when you're her, you still have to prospect. It never stops. You never stop flipping cups. But what's really cool about that? That along that whole time of flipping cups, you are meeting people. You are learning about people. You're finding new friends. You're creating new contacts. You are meeting new people because of that person. You are helping people feel better. You are encouraging people. You are inspiring people. It's not a waste of time to flip cups that are empty, right? Because they might not be the diamonds that you're looking for, but you're going to find other things underneath those cups that were totally worth flipping for. And then she goes and talking about like the cure to what ails your business. Okay, you guys, this is like a hard one to hear, but like this is life. Okay, this is like, if we're being honest, this is life. Take personal responsibility. Take personal responsibility for everything that you do, right? That's life. It would say when you were a student, when you were in high school, when you were in college, when you're at your job, you have to take personal responsibility for what you're supposed to be doing. And when you do that, you will find yourself getting down to it, grinding, staying consistent, because it's on you. It's no one else's fault. It's no one else's, like, she talks about blaming your progress or pace on your team. Okay. That can be easy to do. Even if you have one or two people on your team, you're like, well, I signed up, Julie and Hope, and like, if they would just do this, then I would, it's very easy to do that, even at all levels. But again, life, take responsibility for yourself, and you're going to find so much more power in what you do. Okay, so any thoughts, comments on chapter 1? Something that stuck out to you, something that you were like, oh, maybe you've read it before, heard it before, but it never kind of really popped. No, nothing. Okay. Moving on to chapter 2, power of our profession. So I'll tell you one thing, when I started network marketing, I didn't, it was kind of like, I was like everybody else. I was like, I don't know. I feel like there's only select people that make money. I'm not really sure that there's like, is this a real thing? Like, there's like 5 people in each company that make money and everybody else just pretends that they make money. Like, I didn't understand the industry and how it worked. So I didn't really have, I don't want to say I didn't have much faith in it, but I was just like, I guess that's good for some people. I don't know, But then when I started to learn about the industry, I was like, this is a legitimate thing. Like, this is an actual job that people have just basically bashed for years and years and years. So she talked about one of the first things on the first page that jumped out is, if you're coachable and stay committed to your business, you will grow and you will. And so will your business. Are you coachable and are you committed? And I think that these are questions that I know, like, as a leader, sometimes I myself, or sometimes my leaders, we would shy away from, because we're like, I'm scared to ask somebody for their commitment. And this could be like sharing products with them. This could be sharing the business with them. This could be inviting them to an event, right? And like asking, like, are you committed to coming? Are you committed to taking your products consistently? Because it sounds like such like a bold move. Like, I'm just be like, are you coachable? Are you committed? But you know what, guys? When we come out and ask those things, whether it is about coming to an event, whether it's about trying a sample or using the products or doing the business, when we ask those things, it puts out very clear expectations of what we want for people. And it really kind of gives you that fallback. So when they're not being coachable and they're not committed, you can be like, hey, listen, we talked about this. Remember, you said you were coachable and you were committed. Like, this is the time that we need to be committed. Like, it kind of gives you permission to be like, we talked about this and these were your words, not mine. These were your words. And now I'm going to challenge you. Okay. So here's the other deal. People are like, Plexus, like, Plexus or network marketing or blah, 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 is whatever. Okay. Network marketing is a $180 billion industry. Okay. So people can say what they want about the industry. It's making massive money. Okay. And it's making more now because it's e-commerce. Everybody's online. So some highlights of it, she goes through the freedom and the flexibility. And I'm going to say this too. If you go to the end of the first note, like the end of freedom and flexibility, network marketing allows you to choose your dream life. I say this all the time. Plexus is not my dream job. Okay. I would probably say that from the stage when I'm a diamond. Plexus is not my dream job. I never wanted to be a network marketer or a salesperson or a coach. Like, they weren't my dream jobs. But you know what Plexus does and network marketing does? It allows you to live your dream life. It is the vehicle for you to live your dream life. Okay. You are creating your own hours. You're setting your own schedule. There's zero ceiling to how much money that you can make. If you're coachable and you're committed and you have a goal, there's no ceiling. So is it my dream job? No. Do I love it? Yes. I wouldn't say it's my dream job, but it allows me to live my dream life and give me options that I would have never, ever, ever had. Even if you don't, like, I had stopped my job and started doing it full time. Even if you don't ever do that, network marketing can provide you with options that you would never have otherwise. If it's not the finances, if it's not the time flexibility, it's opportunity to inspire people. It's opportunity to encourage people. Like, sometimes people just love an avenue of supporting, like people that go and volunteer in random places and do all these things. Plexus can be that place where you are just a light to other people, and that can be your avenue. The recognition she talks about in network marketing is ridiculous, y'all. Most of the time, the last time somebody was recognized was like high school graduation or college if they went there. And like, they could be in their 40s and they haven't been recognized since. Like, I'm telling you, ain't nobody cheering me on for doing the dishes. That ain't happening. Nope. They're like, this is dirty. Where do you want me to put it? Like, ain't nobody cheering me on for that. Ain't nobody cheering me for cleaning my house, making my bed. I'm like, what the heck? So recognition, people like that. People want to be told they're doing a good job. People want to be cheered on. And network marketing is the best place for recognition. I mean, especially in Plexus, they recognize us for literally everything. It's crazy. The community, again, people join network marketing for products, finances, or community. We have the best community. It's a good time. Even like, there's people that just really don't do the business. They're not, like hardcore. They like sign up one friend, two friend, maybe once a year, whatever, but they love the community. They come to all the events. They're on all the calls. They're supporting, they're encouraging, they're praying for, they're uplifting. They are part of the family. And that's okay, because that might be what they're here for, right? Sometimes we say they're like here for the milk and cookies, right? They're here for the party. They don't really want to do the business. They're not interested. It's just not their thing. They're not ready, but they want to be a part of something. And Plexus and network marketing is a great place to get involved and be a part of something. And we have to remember that when we're talking to other people to bring them in, that signing up for the business or signing up for the products is great, but also being like, hey, we have a group of men and women that get together, and it's super positive and it's super uplifting. So that's a good thing to kind of like sell them on too. Is like, we have a positive atmosphere. Again, she goes back to the personal growth. There's so many opportunities of personal growth. You can get coaching, you can do podcasts, you can do books, you can just be on regular like team calls that have some type of coaching. But it's always growing yourself. It never stops. If you ever get to the point you're like, I don't need any more personal growth, I'm going to be really, really concerned about you. Because everybody, even Tony Robbins, I don't know if you know who he is, but he's like, I don't know, he's in like the top 10 of like motivational speakers and coaches and all of the things. He still gets coached. I'm not sure who coaches him because he's the top of whatever, but he still finds coaches to get coached. So like if Tony Robbins is in the top 10, motivational whatever, like I'm pretty sure that down here at an Emerald level, living in South Jersey, I need coaching too, right? It never stops. I have a coach that I pay for monthly and I see her weekly, and like she's amazing. She gets coached. It never stops. Your personal growth never stops. You're always developing. And then all right, last thing is have realistic expectations, have a timeline, have a goal. Okay. I mean, she says within 10 years, 95% of people will reach their goal. Okay. Some people do it much faster, some people do it longer, but the difference is not giving up. Okay. And then as you're growing and sharing with your friends what you love, it's like pushing a snowball and you're pushing it uphill. And it can be really hard. And it can be like, this thing weighs a ton. I don't know if I can keep going, but you keep going and you're pushing and you're telling more people about your product and you're telling more people about, and it's hard, but it gets a little bit easier because there's more people pushing the snowball with you, right? The closer you get to the top, people are pushing the snowball. It's pushing the snowball. Eventually with your consistency and your coachability and your goal, you will get to the top. Momentum will pick up and that snowball will just be rolling and it's going to go flying downhill and you have that momentum. But you have to allow the momentum to take place. A lot of times we throw the e-brake on. I do it too, even as an Emerald. Like you throw the e-brake on because you're self-sabotaging or you get nervous or you start to get all this like head track and you throw the e-brake on and now you're like holding the snowball and it's like rolling back at you and you're like, I can't do this. But if we would just stay in alignment with what we know, our goal, filter everything through, like, is this getting me closer to my goal or is it pushing me back further from my goal? That snowball will continue to roll uphill and eventually catch on to the momentum. Okay, and this is the last thing I promise. Whatever you do, don't quit. I love the story. How many of you are going to think of the $50 million woman? Like, I swear, I'm going to think about that every time I go to quit. I'm going to be like, what if that girl in the McDonald's line, what if that's her? Like, I'm going to think about that all the time. Like, okay, like if I quit today and I just signed up some girl from Walmart and like, what is she? And then I'm going to look back and I'm going to be like, because I know people that's done this in our business, y'all, like have walked away and then the person under them blows up and it's like, wow, that was a big mistake. So I don't know about you, but I'm always going to think about that $50 million one. So, all right. Anything you guys want to comment on the second chapter that stuck out to you?
Well, I'll applaud you for doing the dishes because I feel accomplished doing my dishes and cleaning my house because I actually have time to do it now and actually like breathe. So I will applaud you for doing your dishes and laundry.
Thank you. That's so funny. I love it. Sarah.
I feel like the give this time to grow, that really stuck out to me also, because it was just like, wow, like it's not going to happen overnight.
Right. Yes.
I
love that. I love it. And y'all listen, like it's not going to happen overnight, but I say that very cautiously because it can happen overnight. This business, although it ebbs and flows, it has a very strong current. And at any point, things can change overnight. And like, this is a whole nother book and a whole nother book club, but like it's all in your mind. It's that mindset of just deciding that this is what I'm going to do. This is my goal. These are the things I'm going to do to get there. And everything I'm going to do and say is going to filter through that goal. And when you decide in your mindset that this is what I'm going to do, it can change overnight. But having the clear expectations and the realistic timeline, like she says, is true, right? Like we want you to have big, hairy, scary goals, but understand that it takes time to build something huge, right? And there is going to be benchmarks along the way that you're going to hit, that you're going to celebrate and are great and are marks of success. But you want to know, like, it's going to take time. And of course, the more you put in, right? The more committed you are, the more, messages you send, the more people you talk to, because it's a numbers game. It's the cups in the gymnasium. If you just like flip one cup at a time, we're gonna be here like a long time. But if I like set a timer and I'm like, you have 3 minutes to flip as many cups, you're gonna be two-handing it, right? Like, so it's like if you're gonna go in and two-hand people, you're gonna start finding those keepers, those cups a lot faster than if you're just like, well, talked to one person today. I didn't today. I talked to one yesterday. Like, that's gonna slow your timeline down. So yes, I love that it does take time to build, but you also have a little bit of control on how fast you flip those cups. I love that. Love it. Mackenzie, did you want to add anything else?
I don't know. I was just thinking like, I think I've been like, I mean, before, not now, like, because right now I've got a fire under my butt or whatever. But like, I'm growing up, I watched my mom like fail with this stuff. Not plexus per se, but whatever, and like just not give it the time and not be coachable and didn't stay committed. So like she honestly failed at it. And I feel like that's what like was stopping me before, because I didn't want to do that too. But now I'm like, no, I could get used to, staying home and making my house be clean all the time. And I just lit a fire under my ass.
I love it. No, for real though.
To not be
and
that.
It's not. Yes, and it's not. It's not the comparison game can be terrible, and it's not letting someone else's decisions and because what if she didn't have a goal? What if she wasn't committed? What if she wasn't coachable? Right? Like all of it goes out the window. So I'm super proud of you guys. I cannot wait. So we're going to do the next 2 chapters and we'll meet next Tuesday, 8 o'clock. So we're going to read chapters 3 and 4. So thanks so much, guys.